Welcome to another episode of Comedy Wham Presents with me, your host, Valerie, and sometime co-host, Miss Purrington. And for his second time ever, my son joins us as a guest co-host. Hi.
Hi.
ComedyWham.com is your place to go for features about all Austin comedy. You can keep up with us on Twitter and Instagram at ComedyWham or on our Comedy Wham Facebook page. If you're listening to this now, please rate and review us on iTunes. In addition to podcasts, Comedy Wham brings you articles, album reviews, and live shows featuring the best in Austin comedy in all its shapes and formats. Launched in 2016, the Podcast Project brings you funny people and their stories. As a fan, I like to delve into a comic's background and motivations, and will usually take a detour along the way. Consider the interview a way for you to get to know the folks that make the Austin comedy scene one of the best in the country. Today, I sit down with someone who seems to embody the has done it all category. He is trained in speech and debate as a performer and then later as a professor. He's a former slam poetry performer, a character actor with some notable YouTube gems such as Amethyst Black and Duplia Le Doux. And he's a longtime contributor to the Daily Dot where he interviews comics as well. Associate producer of the Comedy Resistance, an organization that combines comedy with political activism. But the main reason that he's here and the reason that my son is with us is he is one half, along with Doug Hines, of the sketch improv duo, the Lavaca Street Boys. And now Comedy Wham presents Adam Weightman with his own sound effects. Oh, that's rich. That is rich. And you know I don't edit anything out, so this is it. Want to open the chocolate while you're at it? Oh no! That's so gross! I can't!
I'm sorry, I can't even eat this chocolate right now.
I think that may be a first. I've never taken off the headphones.
Is this my sticker?
Yes.
Oh.
And your pen.
Oh, wow. That's
We have merch.
tight. It looks Canadian kind of because it has a little, kind of looks like a Canadian leaf.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's cool. I like that.
Thanks.
Comedy Wham.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, Adam. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here.
We're
I'm looking at you both in your eyes right now, and feel like we're going to have a great time.
I think we are, right?
Yeah.
I feel like this is a,
Sorry.
this is like the Sweaty Ball sketch.
Sweaty Ball Sweat? What's that?
The SNL sketch. It's a classic. You must know it. From the 90s.
Oh.
I should know the actresses.
Will Ferrell?
Sometimes. It's the two, like the NPR public radio ladies.
Yes,
and then Alec Baldwin brings his sweaty balls.
That's why I'm doing this. Yeah, that's why I'm doing it like this. I forgot that I was just copying that.
No, you're making it your own. You're taking it and you're making it better.
I need some more items around to make noises.
This is a great candidate. It's the squishy bottle.
Oh, yeah. It's a water bottle. You can...
I feel like I'm going to have to put a little disclaimer before anybody starts this audio. At some point.
This is going to get a lot of hits because we can title this interview...
Don't listen?
Water bottle plastic crush ASMR.
Or ASMR with Adam.
ASMR with Adam. We'll write that down.
I think you might have just come up with the title this way.
Oh, that's cool.
It's me shaking a cup of chocolate.
Uh-huh. Oh boy.
Keys are... No.
You might want to, cliffhanger this and leave that for a finale or something.
I have keys for you at home
Yeah.
on the table, but I'm not going to shake them because that's hack.
All right, Adam. One word to describe your past.
TheCrow.com. So it's one word.
I was going to call you out on that because that is 2 words.
But when you're typing something into internet,
Uh-huh.
it has to be all together, no spaces,
Mm-hmm.
for URLs.
Yeah.
Dude.
What was your first comedic memory?
My mom leaving my biological father because he beat her up a lot. Well, she slipped on a banana peel when she was leaving.
Is this going to be the whole interview?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. My first comedic memory, probably making my brother laugh when we're kids. Just doing faces. Okay, I have this thing with my brother, and I think it works with other people, but I can always make him laugh, and he's older now. He's like in his 30s.
Mm-hmm.
But I can always make him laugh by getting about 6 inches away from his face, and then just slowly, really slowly, just moving in. Just closer and closer. And he always laughs no matter what. It's like, that's our thing. Like, I can always make him laugh no matter what. If I do that.
Yeah.
So, that's a little good memory I have of him. And that's kind of how my comedy started. Just.
Was he always your target?
Yeah, I would do bits for my brother when we were growing up. Like, I watched like a lot of Def Comedy Jam, Damon Wayans, and Martin Lawrence. Is that my phone?
I don't know. You're not plugged in, are you? That sounded like it came through.
It was probably my phone. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Great. Just
sorry.
ruined one of my favorite memories.
I'm sorry.
Technology.
Yeah, well, I guess you should be sorry.
Oh, good.
Okay, so you were watching Def Comedy Jam, and you're...
Yeah, I would do bits. I would do, like, sets for my brother that I was just making up on the fly, but it would be, like, in stand-up form. Like, oh, what's the deal? Hey, what? You don't like asparagus, right? Nobody likes asparagus. Then just, like, pop a balloon and, like, pretend to fart and, 80s comedy.
Yeah.
80s and 90s.
Yeah.
It was great. It was a different time there. Jeffrey Jefferson.
Because one of the things that I did in my homework is I listened to an episode. I guess I didn't check exactly what time it was. You were 3 years in Austin at the time, and it's the Yes But Why with Amy Jordan. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that there are a few notable things that struck me in that interview is you actually didn't start stand-up until you had done a lot of other performance things. Mm-hmm. And it's funny to hear you say how that's the first thing you did.
Yeah.
Goofing around with your brother is essentially stand-up.
It was. Felt like it was back then.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't in front of anybody else besides my brother and my mom and dad sometimes. But my mom and dad didn't watch it like my brother. Didn't appreciate it like my brother did. He was like, yeah, this is fucking tight.
Yeah.
He was only 5, but he was cussing like that.
Wow. So when did you start performing? Because you were doing speech and debate, certainly in college, but
speech team. Mm-hmm.
And okay, let's geek out. Speech team.
Yeah, I like calling it speech team now because that's what Andy Richter calls it. Because he was in speech, so he always says it. He always calls it speech team. Mm-hmm. Like I was on speech team, not the speech team. Just
so were you just on the speech side, or were you on the debate side?
I performed on the speech side, and then when I graduated, I started coaching debate, which sucked.
Which part sucked? The coaching or the debate?
Both, kind of, because it's just about argumentation and format and critical analysis and rhetoric.
Were you coaching CX or LD?
Actually, it was policy and parliamentary.
Oh, yeah, that seems like, okay, so I'm super old, but I did speech and debate when I was in school, but the policy was not happening when I was going through speech and debate. That I'll call that a newer thing, although for you, since you're younger, you're probably thinking, oh, that's been around forever. Wow.
Yeah, it was probably boring back then too. But it was, I didn't like the debate as a performer. I just wanted to act and, perform. And, I met, I started performing in college. My first performance though was in a school play when I was in 5th grade. Ooh. Called A Country Western Christmas. Did you find anything out about this?
I did not. Is it online?
I don't think so.
Okay. My research
I was
isn't
just
that
asking. Sorry.
Oh, boy.
I was bad guy number 1 in A Country Western Christmas when I was in 5th grade. Mm-hmm. And that was the part that I was going for. So we had auditions in my 5th grade class. My teacher, Mrs. Erickson, who was a total bitch, she was having auditions during like history time, whatever. She was probably breaking rules. But we all had auditions, and she, not everybody wanted to audition, obviously. There's only like 10 kids that wanted to do it. And I said, I'll audition. And she said, oh, Adam, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'm going for the part of bad guy number 1. And she's like, that fits you, because I was a brat.
Oh.
And then I did it. And I got it. Like, boom. No problem.
Were you signed to an agency after that performance?
I wish. That'd be tight. But then again, it was the early 90s, so I have this feeling if I actually did become a child actor or I made it in commercials back when I was younger, I would probably be dead by now. I probably would have overdosed on coke or been human trafficked by a rich gay millionaire, billionaire or something. Scary shit.
There's one thing that has not come up yet is the fact that you actually grew up in a mecca that is known for comedy, acting, performance, and that is the Los
Hacienda
Angeles.
Heights.
Yes, we'll just call it L.A. for
Yeah, Hacienda Heights, where Fergie's from. Fergie from Black Eyed Peas. You know that? Yeah.
I know who the Black Eyed Peas are.
Fergie is the woman who's in that group who peed her pants on stage once.
She's the one that sings about her hump. Her hump or her lump?
Lovely lady humps. Jump.
Is it hump or lump?
I think it was there's 2 versions.
Lumps?
There's always 2 versions of all their songs.
Oh.
Tell us, Jeff, you're just looking around like you don't know. But don't you know?
He peddles in a different type of music.
What are you, Jeffrey Jefferson, how old are you?
13.
You're 13. What are you listening to now? What's in your Zune?
All kinds of music.
Like hip-hop or rock or...
Yeah, mainly rock and hip-hop.
Who's your favorite artist? Who's a good artist right now?
Like, I don't know.
Seriously?
Well, like, when I was 13, I was into Boys to Men. Belle Biv DeVoe. Lighter Shade of Brown.
You tell me all sorts of artist names that that you like.
But they have weird names.
Yeah, what are they?
So what are they?
Like Logic or...
Logic? I know Logic. I mean,
for like rock, I like Led Zeppelin. And
that's classic rock.
I also like 21 Pilots. And Post Malone.
I like Post Malone, yeah. It's my sunflower. That's from Into the Spideyverse. Plug. I'm not in that movie, but I love it.
From his 3rd album. Hollywood's Bleeding. Mm-hmm. a song that he saw live.
Oh, you saw that live?
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I was in a country western Christmas. It went well. That was my first acting job.
So, did it, was it like a habit-forming thing, going through that experience at the ripe old age of 5th grade, whatever that is? What would 5th grade be? 9? 8, 9?
9, yeah, 9 or 10, something like that. No, I didn't really have an outlet after that. So I would just be the class clown. Really bad. Class clown. Like doing faces all the time, just asking the stupidest questions because I knew it would just make everybody laugh. If I had more of a creative outlet, it would have been better. My parents did put me into this pyramid scheme child actors school called Beverly Hills Studio.
Okay.
And they were sued by everybody and went bankrupt.
Oh,
eventually.
wow.
But it was totally this rip-off, like, acting studio for kids, acting school for kids, where it wasn't even in L.A. It was, like, in the city of industry or something.
Okay.
Way outside
That's
of the city.
East L.A.
Yeah. And they paid $600 each month for both of us. So they're paying $1,200 for us to go, like, once a week for 3 hours to this school.
Wow.
And it wasn't a school. It was like a building that they had rented out rooms for. And they had these, failed actors teaching these kids, or these, like, people that were trying to get into the industry that knew something about it. But it was just it was a scam. But we didn't know that at the time. We just thought we were going to acting school.
Did you get anything out of that? Because you probably, I don't know how much you knew that it was shady at a young age. That was something your parents probably figured out.
I felt bad for them paying that much money once I found out how much it was. I made some friends that I still know from that. And I was only like 6th or 7th grade or something. But they were paying too much money. And then my parents got divorced, and my mom was broke. And I was like, "How are you paying this? This is too much." And I found out she was using my biological dad's child support payments, which I didn't know she was getting child support from my dad because I never met him.
What?
Yeah, I never met my biological father. They broke up right after I was born. She left him because he was abusive, and he had PTSD from Vietnam, and she was getting hurt.
So the divorce was from, like, a stepdad or something? Or am I missing?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, it's so confusing. My biological mom and dad never got married. They just were together, and then they left. My mom left him and got with the dad that raised me, Barney Weightman. That's why I have 2 last names. My full name is Adam Michael Brandon Gonzalez Lee the Crow Weightman.
Okay.
I'm half Mexican.
So this is going to be like this, huh?
I just don't. I don't want to be too aggressive in the way I'm talking.
Okay. So it was cool that your parents wanted to put you in this, I guess a creative outlet.
Yeah, my mom always wanted to be famous. She wanted to be an actor. She had a kid when she was like 14 or 15, out of wedlock, I guess they would say back then. But once she had the kid, they gave it up for adoption, and I think my mom was mad at my grandma for having to do that, and she ran away to California where my grandpa was living. So she left Indiana. She's born in South Bend, Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah, so legally she's considered retarded. I'm just kidding. South Bend is bad, so I'm glad she got out of there. But she left. She left Indiana. She moved in with my grandpa, and then she kind of. I think she had this idea of moving to LA and being famous, but
it ain't easy.
Nope.
Yeah.
She ended up parking cars in Hollywood and making some friends, and then getting with my cholo biological dad. He's like, "Hey, Holmes, let me take you out. After you park my car, I'll take you to go get a steak." She's like, "Oh my God, okay." He's like, "So you look pretty nice driving cars."
Oh, thank you very much.
"What's your name?"
My name's Teresa.
Nice to meet you. My name is Manuel. And then from there, I guess I got together. I think that's how it happened.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But he was a cholo, and he was in Vietnam, and he got cancer and PTSD. So he had PTSD, and then he had cancer from Agent Orange.
Jeez.
Yeah. There's a couple other comics in town that have the same story, kind of. I know there's an improver. I can't remember her name, but in Austin. So, sorry, it's getting sad.
It's okay.
We're familiar with sad.
Oh.
We have our own sad story, but this is not about us.
Well, because I didn't have an outlet in school, I was kind of a bad boy kid. I was kind of I didn't do my homework, and I was I guess it would be ADD back then, but or now, but back then it was just like,
you're a bad kid.
I'm a bad kid, yeah. So I'd make stuff on my desk. I would just come up with jokes. I'd make fake guns with toilet paper rolls and Band-Aids and whatever I can get my hands on. But I heard someone else was a naughty boy at school once too.
Oh. Uh-oh.
And the reason why I'm bringing this up is I heard, Jeffrey Jefferson, that you got in trouble. And I want to tell you a story about similar that I had with my teacher. So, can you tell us about what happened?
What happened in digital?
I said the F word.
With air quotes.
Can you take us back to that day?
We're fly on the wall. We're in the classroom. You're doing... You're working on your project.
And it wasn't working.
Uh-huh.
I was already upset.
Speak
I was
right in
upset because it wasn't working.
Mm-hmm.
It should have been working.
What wasn't working?
I kind of forgot.
Is it a program or something you're working on?
Yeah, we were working on Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator. And there was something that wasn't working that I thought I had changed.
Sorry.
I thought I had changed my settings to work. And I went back to change it in something or whatever. And got upset again because it didn't work. So.
Then what happened?
I said the F word.
Oh, when you said it out loud?
Yeah.
Were you just like, fuck?
I think so.
Is he allowed to say it now?
He self-censors. I mean,
Oh.
it is not my preference that he uses bad language, but,
For reenactment purposes?
For reenactments.
Could you do it?
Well, are you comfortable?
No.
How
Oh, you
about if you
wouldn't
say
wanna do
fudge instead? How loudly did you say it?
So like
I didn't
pretend it
actually-
happened.
I didn't say it very loud. Like, I kind of said it like this.
Oh.
I'm
Oh.
surprised.
Okay,
my
but
teacher-
so pretend you have like the mouse in your hand and you're working on the computer and it's not working. And then
Fudge.
that's it?
Yeah, I didn't say it very loud. I was surprised my teacher even heard me.
Oh man, so then what happened? So she came over and she was like...
No, she didn't say anything and then asked me to talk to her at the end of the class.
Oh no, that's like getting fired from a job.
Yeah.
That's what they did to me at the movie theater. Let me work the whole day and then I got fired in the end.
Yeah.
I've been fired on a Friday afternoon at 4:00.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
That's how they do it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. The bad company.
They want you to work and then they say, no more work for you. So she
Gave me a referral.
gave
Which
you a
isn't that
referral.
bad.
To who?
It's like, to me.
She gave you a referral?
Yeah.
To an agency or...
No, it's like, we have these things called referrals.
I remember
Which, yeah, there's like a certain amount of them and you'll get like lunch detention and then a certain amount more, like detention and then like in-school suspension.
Uh,
I think if you get a bunch of them, it's like Saturday school or something.
are they like little yellow slips, like square slips, and then you have to like turn them into the
she
office?
didn't actually like physically give anything to me.
Everything's electronic.
It was like in
this
like
point,
the school records or whatever.
Oh, so did she have to type something up then?
I think so.
Okay,
Yes.
I remember referrals. I was just kidding. They used to be like little strips of paper, because I had a bunch of them.
And then I got a phone call.
Oh yeah, okay. So you, so then the teacher talked to you.
Yeah.
What did she say?
She just said like, because of what you said earlier, I'm gonna have to give you a referral or whatever. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Did she say what she said exactly to me?
Oh, yeah, she said she was going to have to give a referral and that, they would decide what to do as punishment with you. But she knew you were a good kid and that, you probably just slipped.
Yeah.
Because here at home, he doesn't actually he self-censors and he uses other words in place. So I was pretty surprised. But I think he was so immersed in the project that he forgot where he was.
Oh. So you have some sort of deep unconscious, not potty mouth. With my family, it was a little different. My mom started like letting us cuss, I think, when I was like in 5th or 6th grade. I remember the first time I said fuck in front of my mom and I didn't get in trouble. And then from that point, it was okay for me. I knew when it was okay to say it. And, it was this one day we didn't have a car when we were growing up. My dad had a car. My mom didn't. So, on Saturdays and Sundays, we would ride our bikes to the store down the street. And one time, me and my brother and my mom were riding our bikes down the street, on this street called Hacienda Boulevard. Where we lived. And, we were driving down and we stopped at a stoplight and a car was driving by and the person sitting in the passenger side squirted us with something, with like a liquid or something. Ugh. And it got all over our faces. And, we stopped the bikes. We were kind of like pulling up to the red light and then squirted us and then we all stopped. We stopped the bikes and then we all had this stuff on our face. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is that? And my mom goes, it's piss!
Oh, jeez.
It's piss!
Oh my god.
And I was like, fuck! And I looked at my mom after I said that. And she was just like,
desperate times calls for desperate
it's piss,
measures.
So it's okay for you to say fuck when you get piss squirted on your face.
Wow.
So from that moment on, I was like, okay. So if somebody squirts piss in my face, I can say a bad word. So I started coming up with other things, like bumping myself into the wall. I'm like, shit! Like stabbing myself on purpose, pretending it's accident. And I'm like, fuck!
So you took a tragedy and turned it into a comedy.
Mm-hmm. That's how I became who I am today. My story for the cussing is much worse. And if I tell you this, Jeffrey Jefferson, you can never copy it. You can't copy it. Now, meeting you face to face, I don't think you would. Because you're not a bad boy. You're a good boy. Jeffrey Jefferson is a good boy. So, in 6th grade, I started I started a ring of merchandise stealing and selling to other students. There's this shop at the mall when we were growing up called Sanrio, and there's these toys at this shop. It was like a Japanese toy shop, and they had these toys called Hirono no Peckle and Karopi, and they were made by Sanrio. They're made by this company that made Hello Kitty.
Oh, yeah.
So, but they were for guys and girls. So there was this Karopi that was super popular, and it was a frog. It was like this little cute frog.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like
I didn't know its name, but yeah.
Karopi, yeah.
Yeah.
and Kurobi or something. And so that was super, super popular when I was in 6th grade, because there's no internet. There's just pencils and erasers at that point. And so everybody had Kurobi stuff, but it was also super, super expensive. Like a pack of 4 Kurobi pencil erasers was like $12 or something crazy like that. And people would my friends would go to the mall and they would steal from the mall. And I was like, that's too dangerous for me. I'm not going to do that shit because I don't want to get in trouble because my mom would beat me up. So I started stealing from the kids at school because I knew I can get away with it and they would never see and I wouldn't get in trouble. It would have to go through the school and then it had to go through my mom, so there's no law enforcement involved. Mm-hmm. So I started stealing these poor kids' Kurobi items, and there was pencil boxes and there was lead pencils, and that was like right when lead pencils were coming out. So it was like magic. Like lead pencils used to be magic when I was in 6th grade. Because you can whatever. I'm not going to explain it right now. But they had like different colored pens and, rulers and combs and all these little different Kurobi items. And everybody was loving this stuff. So I would steal it. And then one time first time I did, I stole something. And it was like these little, and they were used. They were used Kurobi erasers. And I sold them to my friend Wade for $5. And $5 when you're in 6th grade in the early 90s.
A lot of candy.
It's a lot. Yeah. It's candy. It's quarters. It's video games. That's all I would know to spend it on back then. So I just started selling this by myself. And I was selling these pencils and stuff to these people. That, of course, I'd steal it from one kid and I'd sell it to another. And, make sure they didn't know each other or whatever. Anyways, I made like $8 one morning real quick. And then, I was like counting my money outside. And then my friend, Jeff Shue comes up and he goes, whoa, dude, where'd you get that money, dude? And I was like, easy money, dude. I was like Terminator 2, John Connor. Easy money, dude. I just stole this Kurobi pencil from Talitha and I sold it to Wade. He's like, what? And then all my friends started doing it. Everybody started stealing everybody's Kurobi stuff and selling. And then shit got crazy. And then my other friends just started stealing like regular pencils. Regular lead pencils that had no Kurobi affiliation. They were like worthless. I was like, why are you stealing this? So I started moving on to being more creative and I started making pencil boxes and I just drew Kurobi on it and kids wanted to buy that. And so I started selling that and I was starting to make money off that. And, cause the stealing business was going out of style because everybody was doing it. And one day, I made this pencil box, this pencil holder for this girl, and she had it on her desk, and she was in another class. I was starting to branch outside of classes, and I was selling to other kids in other classes. And somehow my friend John was in the other room. He's in my class, but he was in that other room somehow when nobody was there, and he took all the pencils from the girl's pencil box that I made her. And he just took them, and she's crying her eyes out, because she's only in 6th grade, and somebody stole her pencils. And Mr. Robinson from next door said to the class, "Who took Tina's pencils? Who took Tina's pencils?" And then my former best friend from 5th grade, Jason Tees, who I left because I became cool, and he stayed a nerd, which just sucks. I should have stayed his friend, but he said that he saw me do it. So and I think he wanted to get me in trouble because he was mad at me for leaving him as a friend. Mm-hmm. And so Mr. Robinson came into my class and said, "Miss Kelly, can we see Adam?" And she's like, "Oh, okay." And so I went over to the class, and I'm like, you know, back then I thought I was like Fresh Prince. I was like, yo, Mr. Robinson, what's up? What's going on? What's the problem? What's up? Oh, shit, what's up? What's up? I was like saying hi to all my friends in the class. And then Mr. Robinson, in front of everyone, says, look at Tina. And I'm looking at Tina. Tina's just bawling, or she's crying. And I'm like, what happened? And he's like, did you take Tina's pencils? And I said, no. I immediately got like really offensive. I was, no, I didn't. And then he's like, well, Jason Tees says that you did. And he points at Jason. Jason's like, yeah. And I'm like, no, I didn't, Jason. Fuck you. Fuck you, Jason. Piece of shit. And Mr. Robinson was like, whoa, 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 whoa. We're not trying to. And I was like, nah, fuck you, Mr. Robinson. Fuck you. Fuck this shit. I don't need you. You guys are fucking blaming me for shit. I didn't fucking do that. Fuck you guys. Fuck this. I'm fucking out of here. And I'm in 6th grade, and I got this like, been watching way too much like Boys in the Hood. Never. I need to see that still, but no, it was all about Boys in the Hood, Juice, Menace to Society, and Living Color, Def Comedy Jam. That was all. I was just consuming only black media. Well, I mean, yeah, it's what I had. So, I said, fuck you, Mr. Robinson. I start walking out, and then my 2 friends followed me out. They're like, whoa! And like the whole class just exploded. Like, oh, wow! It goes crazy. And I'm walking out. My 2 friends come out, and they're like, whoa, Adam, that was so cool. Wow, dude, you're so cool. You're so badass. And I was like, yeah, dude, I'm badass. And they're walking with me, and they're like, where are you going? I'm like, I don't know. And I just start walking out towards the field, and they start walking with me. And I just walked over, all the way down the field, and I jumped on this wall, and I sat on top of the wall. And they said, okay, we're going to go back. And I'm like, yeah, you guys go back. And then the principal, Mr. Gosen, my teacher, Miss Kelly, and Mr. Robinson all came out to come get me. And they're like, Adam, we're sorry. We blamed you for this. You're not in trouble. We know you didn't do it. Can you come down? And I said, no, fuck you. And I flipped him off.
Oh, jeez, you doubled down.
I did.
Oh, my gosh.
And Miss Kelly was like, oh, come on. Adam, no, you don't need to say that. And I said, oh, yes, I do. And I think I said the B word to her, like, and then after I think I called her the B word, and then after that, I immediately felt bad. Mm-hmm. Like, I immediately felt like, okay, I'm just being mean now. Like, she's trying to be nice, and I'm being a dick. And so, but I held it in. I didn't show them that felt bad. And, because I didn't know what to do. And then they're like, all right. And then they just left me alone, and they left over there. And then my friend Larry came, who's my rich friend. Gotta have some rich friends in your kid if you can. Hacienda Heights has a bunch of it has very rich kids, and then it has very poor kids. And so if you're one of the poor kids, you gotta be friends with the rich kids. So you can go up in the hills and hang out. And anyways, he had a big house up in the hills, and we just walked to his house, and somehow my mom found out that I was there, and she came to pick me up, and she wasn't mad at me. Because it was like getting squirted with piss in your face. She's like, I'm not mad at you because I know they blamed you for something you didn't do, but now you're suspended for 3 days. 3 days, that's like rehab for 6th graders. And I came back and cussed everybody out again. No, I'm just kidding. I came back and I was, I was kind of mad at John because he took the pencils, and then everybody stopped stealing stuff after that.
Wow! So you affected change.
I did. I have been. I always had some sort of scheme going on when I was an easy money scheme when I was growing up. Like every year, in 7th grade when I got to junior high, I figured out this thing I can do to make like $10 or $15 a day, and it was just going up to everybody and being like, oh, hey, man, I don't have any money. Do you have like a dime or nickel, anything I can borrow? And somebody would give me like 25 cents or like 35 cents. And then I would go up to the next person. I would go like, I don't have any money. Do you have like a dime, nickel, anything I borrow? And I went up to like 100 kids and I would say, do you have a dime, nickel, anything I can borrow? and I would have like
Jeez.
I would have a pocket full of change, like quarters. Like some of those kids like had lots of money to give out, so some people gave me like $1. And so I would come back to the gym in PE, and I would just have like $15 in change, like stored every day. And then I was making like $30 a week or something, like $40 a week, maybe, all in quarters and change.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course, I think John started copying me. Other people started copying me, and then couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it worked for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Well, we can't continue at this pace.
Well, I know
you story from every grade.
I know. Sorry, you have like titles for your episodes, and what would a funny title be so far?
Well, I mean, I think ASMR with Adam is still the top contender. It might be. Adam tells us everything that happened in 6th grade.
Adam coaches Jeffrey Jefferson in ASMR style.
So you went to school both in the Los Angeles area and then outside of Los Angeles. Then you went back to LA.
Yep.
So at some point it clicked for you that you wanted to continue performing outside of school. It was like your thing.
Yeah, well, I started doing, I always wanted to be on TV, and I was trying to figure out how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first got to college, I was taking programming classes and computer classes. And I had like a moment where I was behind a computer for, like a couple weeks, and I just had this moment, and I was like, I don't want to do this. Probably not healthy, and I want to be an actor and be more creative. And so then I joined children's theater, and I switched from the smartest thing I ever did, switched from computer science major to radio and television broadcasting. It's not the smartest thing I ever did. It's just the stupidest thing I ever did. Because now I work for a software company.
That's hilarious.
And so I went to children's theater, and I got to tour with this children's theater company.
Huh.
Doing Beauty and the Beast 2. And we just toured around schools.
Wait, you made a second one?
No, it was fake. We just wrote
Oh.
it. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's like, well, do you have the rights for that? I was like, I guess it didn't matter,
Yeah.
We just wrote it, and it was really weird. It was with a bunch of, theater dorks and me. I never, really I never wanted to just go full theater, though, because I thought there's so much of a big chance that you won't make it. And so I was like, I still want to work in TV and film, so I should have some sort of skill. So then I went into radio and broadcasting, and started getting into engineering and editing, software editing, and radio. Mm-hmm. I started doing radio. What
was your opening salvo for your radio show?
Oh, it's 90.1 KSAK. Hey, what's up, guys? DJ Evermore here. Coming up, we got Really Big Fish and also REM's new jam. Come on out. Right now, it's Hoopastank. 90.1 KSAK. I had a morning show with a guy named Andy. It was the Adam and Andy show, and we started doing a lot of sketches and stuff. It was pretty funny. It was a good time. I had a lot of acne back then, and he did too. So we just two pimply faced guys, in the morning, just like, hey, Andy, hey. But it went well, and I got to perform over production, and that's when I started interviewing and working with bands and indie bands and hip hop groups and stuff like that, and recording and making beats and stuff. And then I met the speech team people. Uh-huh. And that the speech team coaches were the most amazing people I ever met. I had a teacher, my public speaking teacher, Kenny Clawwitter, who I was like, oh my God, you can do this? You can teach like that? Because he's always smiling, he's super happy, and he had great charisma, and he's super funny. I think he was my first gay professor, and he just was super inspiring to me. And I was the best speaker in his class, so last day of school, he was like, "Hey, Adam, you should join the speech team." And I was like, "Okay."
So what exactly is speech team?
There's a couple different genres within speech team. It's actually all together with speech and debate. It's called forensics. It sounds like CSI, but forensics is Latin for search for the truth. So we use that as an overall sort of name for it, because we're all researching and trying to find something, trying to discover things in performance. Speech team, though, is like poetry. You get to read, you get to perform short stories, poetry, dramatic monologues, dramatic duos where you get to have a partner and you're both doing performance together. It's super fun, and it's competitive. So you go out on the weekends and you go up against other teams from other schools.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's what got me through college. I got a full scholarship after community college, and then I got a full scholarship to go to grad school because of that. But I still took out loans, and I'm very deep in debt.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm just kidding. I'm not deep in debt anymore. They had it at like $90,000. They're saying I owed $90,000, and it was only like a $16,000 like loan.
Wow.
But I never paid it off. I just paid off like a little bit, and then I got into the Loan Forgiveness Act, and it's gone.
Wow. That's amazing. All right. This interview is never going to end, Adam.
I'm sorry.
I have to ask you my official interviewer. Okay, go ahead.
So why did you and Doug want to start doing the Lavaca Street?
Oh,
he's going fast forward.
Thank you. I'm sorry. All that other shit I was talking about. Lavaca Street Boys. Why did we want to start? Because we were already working. We were already working together in improv, and we kind of started in Austin together because I came from LA and I did the Groundlings and UCB, and I was doing stand-up, and I moved here and I was able to focus in more on it, and me and Doug went through the classes together, and we got to spend a lot of time together, and we started coming up and working with other groups, and then a couple years go by and we're still working with other groups, and we're like, you know what, let's just me and you do it because this shit sucks. We're like, everybody sucks. We're like working with all our friends. We're like, oh yeah, this guy's fucking, he always fucks shit up. He always fucks it up. He's too fucking mean. He always says no. It's like, let's just me and you do it. And so me and him started doing performances together. And we started off with this performance called Karate Mike. And it was a sketch, like a sort of improv sketch where I would come out as this guy that knows karate. And he's going to teach everybody some moves and some tips about life. But when he comes out, he's only out there for like a minute. And then Doug comes out and he's like, "Hey, where's my sister's iPod?" And Karate Mike's like, "I don't know." And then Doug beats up Karate Mike for like 5 minutes. And that's the sketch. And so we did that a lot. And then me and him started doing... we started coaching improv together with Michael Jastro and a couple other people in Austin.
And you actually know Michael Jastro. Maybe you don't remember the name, but Michael Jastro
from Victrola.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah. He's my favorite improver
Mm-hmm.
in town. Every time I watch him, I'm like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. It's so funny.
I really liked Victrola.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good. I gotta check it out.
It's great. It's a great podcast.
This one's great too. So we developed the Lavaca Street Boys duo, and my girlfriend Audra Schroeder, who's a journalist, she's the reason why I write for the Daily Dot.
Uh-huh.
She got me those jobs and interviews. She came up with the Lavaca Street Boys name because Fallout Theater is on Lavaca Street. And I wanted something tough, and Lavaca Street Boys sounds kind of tough.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that sounds cool. She came up with a name, so I was like, that's good. I'd rather someone else come up with a name and then we use it, so we didn't come up with it by ourselves. So I told Doug, and he's like, I love it. Most of the stuff that me and him have worked on together, we're always just like, yeah, that's going to be hilarious. We love it. So we're good partners.
How long ago did you form Lavaca Street Boys?
I think 4 years ago was our first Lavaca Street Boys. I was originally doing this thing called Karate Mike and Kung Fu Steve with Nathan Ehrman. And we did Karate Mike Life Advice with Karate Mike and Kung Fu Steve. But Nathan was... Me and Nathan just... I think we were just working together because we were both... People just thought we were good, talented, funny people. So he thought it would be good for him if he was working with me, I guess, or that sounds so bad.
It's more political than organic.
Yeah, he was kind of doing everything he could to do as much as he can, and then we came up with that idea, and then he decided to leave and do something else, and I was very offended by that. So I made it much better. I made it Lavaca Street Boys, and I kept my idea to do Life Advice, where I kind of took the format that I worked on with him, and we just made it into this awesome show with me and Doug.
So,
excuse me, sorry. So gross.
With so many comics here and performers who make the decision to move from Austin to LA or Austin to New York.
Yeah.
Why did you move from LA to Austin?
Oh, because that's the smart move. I'm from LA, so I grew up there, so I know what it's like. And I think when you are... All the most successful people that I know in Los Angeles are not from LA. They're from Colorado. They're from New Mexico, Illinois, Chicago, New York. They're people that moved, Wisconsin. There's people that moved to LA to be there. And being from LA, I always had this fallback where I was like, I have family in La Puente that I can go stay with if I needed to. I could stay with my friends if I needed to. So there was never this... It didn't make me a hard worker. It made me not focus. It was too much. Like, just everything's great in LA and everything. There's so much to do. It was too much fun. So I needed to leave. And having been in Illinois and Iowa, I know what it was like being in a different, smaller city, and I really liked it. And I was going to move to Portland or Austin, and I had some poetry friends here. So I was like, Austin.
Now, I'm going to pull a quote from the interview, the podcast you did with Amy, Yes, But Why. At the time, I think you were 3 years in Austin, and it's condensed to go home or be a Texan. And you were at 3 years in Austin at the time. And where do you fall with that sentiment now? How long? I'm sorry, I should go back. How long have you been in Austin at this point?
Since 2013.
Okay, all right, so 6 years.
Yeah, I was having a hard time finding a job as I couldn't get hired at the community college to teach anymore, or to teach. I didn't have an in, and every time I applied, I just wasn't getting a call back. And every time I went in to meet with someone, they were gone, or I just didn't know what to do. So I started doing all these smaller jobs. I worked at Pinball's Arcade and Taco Deli, and which I still love both those places. But I was only making $12 an hour, $13 an hour. So it's not enough to live in Austin and make that much money. So I was going to move and leave. But I met my girlfriend, who I love, and we fell in love. And I don't think we were as in love then as we are now, but I moved in with her, and she kind of saved me from moving, and she saved me from myself. She supported me. She liked me, and somehow I tricked her into being inspired by me or something. She's really dug me, and I really appreciate it. And I had known from other relationships that I should try harder and not make the same mistakes. And I didn't have to, because of her, I didn't have to move to Colorado to live with my dad in the basement. And also because of her, I've been able to become a better comic and focus. And so I think it was leave. I can leave, and I can just keep winging it, or I can stay here, work harder. And now that I have someone that loves me and supports me by my side, I can focus and try harder the right way. Try the right way, because we've taken a lot of time to develop our relationship, and you should do that. If you're a comic, there's this thing about, if you're a comic, you can't be in love, or you can't be with someone because you got to always be out. And that's not true. It's bullshit. If you're a comic, you should still love, and you're in a relationship, and you love that person, then you should work on that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, there's a distinct... Bless you.
Bless you.
There's a distinct wisdom...
Sorry, whenever I hear someone sneeze, I fart.
There's a distinct wisdom when I talk to a comic that's in a relationship versus one that's, they're young, they're dating around, whatever, because they realize, life is really a balancing act. And while I love performing and being a comic, I also love this person. And I have to find the balance, because you get a lot from being in the relationship if it's a good relationship. And if you're in a good relationship, then that can feed into, I'm a better performer, because certain stress and anxiety goes away, because I know I can go home and I'm supported and I'm loved.
Yeah.
And so that's more freeing when you're on stage.
Yeah.
And people that are still young and dating around, they haven't picked up on that. They haven't learned that life lesson yet.
Yeah, it's kind of rude. Could be rude. Could be kind of mean. Just kind of stuff. Stand-up is selfish.
Yeah.
Being in the comedy industry and the entertainment industry is pretty selfish. You're the center of attention. You're supposed to be you're selling yourself at every moment, and you're supposed to be the center of attention. So when you're in a relationship, it's like, you can easily be a douchebag. So I think people should look out for that. And I think we're in a new era where we don't need to be alone. We can still establish good relationships and keep them and work on them with the people we love. It's more important than comedy, I guess. Who cares?
Well, let's talk about some of the things that you've done. I think my first introduction to you was through the Comedy Resistance.
Yeah.
Because I went to see one of your shows, which is on a Sunday night.
Oh,
a lot of times, which is a school night.
Super hard. Yeah, it's a bummer night.
But but the time that I went, you had a packed crowd, and it was great performers. And the Comedy Resistance, your official title, is this still the current title, associate producer?
Yeah.
And this is a national organization. This isn't.
Yep. Yep.
So tell me, I just condensed it to they combine combining comedy with political activism.
Yeah. Or yep. Using comedy as an outlet to activate people and to get them motivated and to change their surrounding, particularly via voting and registering to vote. Because 2016 we had the lowest voter turnout, I think, ever, and that thing about that quote from either leave or become a Texan kind of fits back in with this too, is because that's when I decided, when Trump became president, I was like, oh, shit, I live here. This is where I live. This is where I do stuff. I work in the restaurant industry here. I know the neighborhoods. I know the people because of working at Taco Deli. I know everybody that lives in these areas. Mm-hmm. People I see every day that I care about. They live here with me, and I live here. And I've been, at that point, I was here for 3 years. I was like, I'm going to stop being from California. I'm going to start being from Austin. Mm-hmm. And Comedy Resistance kind of solidified that for me. Comedy Resistance is run by Dave Rath, Tommy Giannis, and a couple other guys. Those two guys are like big names in comedy. Dave Rath is my hero. He's the comedy god. He's like everybody in comedy knows him. He works with everybody. I'm not even going to say names. Carrot Top. No, I don't know if he works Carrot Top, but he probably knows him. Yeah. He knows everybody. He's been in the game for a real long time. And I got to meet him through my old speech coach. She introduced us.
Oh, wow.
So I got to meet Dave Rath. I got to work with him. I got to be his PA at Moon Tower. And from there, they hired me on to continue Comedy Resistance in Texas and then start traveling out and working and reaching out to other people, other comics in different states to establish Comedy Resistance in different cities. So I started.
So it was born in Austin?
It started in Hollywood in LA.
Okay.
But they brought it to Moon. They brought it to Moon Tower with David Cross. Yeah. And when David and Maria Bamford were here a couple years ago, that's when I was Dave's PA, and we all went out and organized pop-up shows and voter registration events. And we started defining kind of what Comedy Resistance does at that point. And I got a bunch of people who I love in the scene to meet Dave Rath and to meet David Cross and the Sklar brothers, and there's Preacher Lawson. Preacher Lawson was with us. There's a couple other people with us. Brian Hussein came in too at some point. It was nice because I got to take like Avery Moore and Justin Hicks and Hunter Duncan, who are all my really good friends, and I got to message them and be like, hey, do you want to work with David Cross tomorrow?
Wow.
And they're like, yeah.
Hell yeah.
So we got to hang out with them, and yeah. That made me feel better about what happened in 2016, because it just kind of like, I knew I was kind of working on something that's better for the comedy community, and then also better for us in Texas, hopefully, to make it better, make it purple and then blue or something. Right.
Return to blue.
Yeah. When was Texas Democratic? When was the last time? Was it 80s? 84?
Yeah, I'd say the early 80s. I mean, Ann Richards was the last Democratic governor, and she was out in 92, I think, by good old George.
Yep.
So, yeah. So there was, the tide was happening in the 80s to change. But, yeah. Long history of Texas being Democratic.
Yeah.
And then it's painful that it's red, but in the span of Texas history, it's a relatively short period that it's been red.
I've always thought it's been red.
Oh, wow.
I always thought it was red.
Yeah.
Well, it's been red since you were a tiny baby Jefferson.
Yeah.
I always thought it was red too. Well, the Democrats used to be the Republicans. They used to be the conservative. The Southern Democrats turned into the Republicans back in the 60s. I think 50s or 60s they became the Republicans. But the people that were bad before were the Southern Democrats.
All right, so there's the Comedy Resistance, the Daily Dot.
Yeah, I haven't written anything for the Daily Dot for a couple of years now because I stopped liking it.
Huh.
I had a really bad interview with Nick Swartzen who is still one of my favorites, writers and comedians, but I talked to him. I called him up, and I was like, hey, we were talking, and I knew some things I wanted to talk about, but I was also kind of winging it a little bit, and he could feel that, and he's like, did you even do any research, dude? I was like, oh, yeah, I mean, I watched your show. Also, I didn't like the show as much, and I didn't want to write that I didn't like it. And when you're a journalist, you have to be critical. And I didn't like being critical to someone that I looked up with like that. And a couple times I turned in my work, and just it got edited a little bit, and it didn't seem like something that I there's some words that got added, I think, and I just either I didn't remember coming up with those words or putting them down, but I was like, that's not what I want to say, and I couldn't. And it felt like it started feeling like homework.
Yeah.
The best interview and article I ever wrote was with Cat Williams. Cat Williams was my favorite one because I'm a very passionate Cat Williams fan. I love fucking Cat Williams shit. He's great. And I finally got to talk to him. He's one of my favorite comics. You can tell by the way I perform, obviously. And so I got to talk to him, and I wrote this great article, and I was like, oh, well, this is the one. And he was like, I know you now, Adam. I know you. And I was like, oh, thank you. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I'll give you my I'll tell my assistant to give you my contact. And he gave me his contact and stuff. I haven't contacted him yet.
There's still time.
Yeah, I don't know what I'd say. Like, hey, Cat, can I join the Cat crew?
Yeah.
I got these great jokes about my mom. Like, Adam, you need to work on your stuff. No.
Were you, well, obviously, I'm sure talking to Kat was like starstruck
Everybody,
kind of thing.
That's why I can't release any of my interviews. They're all audio recorded. But if you listen to my voice, it's like, hi! Oh my God, congratulations on your Netflix special. Oh.
But you have a radio voice. You have a radio background.
Yeah, but when you're like on the phone and it's just bad recorder, it's, I had to have them on speaker, so I felt like I was yelling, and they were all on speaker. I talked to Russell Peters, and I said dope 45 times. Dope, 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 dope. He said it once, and then I was like, oh, he says dope, and I just kept saying dope after that.
That's probably why I only said it once. Because you said it a bunch after that.
Yeah.
Oh.
You can tell he was like getting... You can tell that I was a rookie or too much of a fan or something, because I was like, the first time I saw you was in 2002 on this Google video that was released of your stand-up. And he's like, oh, yeah, I remember that video. I actually wanted to kick the guy's ass who released that and published it on Google. And I went, oh, dope. And he's like, no, actually, it wasn't dope. I didn't want that video released. I was like, oh. Well, it was dope that I got to see it. He's like, yeah. Couldn't let anybody hear that shit. I talked to Norm Macdonald, and this is when I stopped trying to be so excited. Because first he gets on the phone, he's like, he's super tired or something. He's like, hello, hey, hello, and I'm like, hi, Norm. I was like, thanks for taking my call. Thanks for your interview. Congratulations on your Netflix special. He's like, oh, yeah, thanks. I really liked it. It's one of my favorites. So what do you think about it? I didn't like it, really.
Oh, God.
And that article that I wrote actually went viral, and because he said he didn't like his own special. Everybody picked it up, and it got on The Onion.
Oh, how funny.
And went viral. The AV Club.
Huh.
He was super nice, too. He wanted to keep talking. He was going to give me his contact. But stopped writing because it started feeling like homework.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stopped writing those articles. And I feel like I interviewed everybody I ever wanted to talk to, except for like Chris Rock.
Yeah.
And I met Dave Rath, and that makes me feel like I know everybody.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, sorry I suck at interviews.
We're going to start winding down. I feel like we've covered a lot of the things that you do. We haven't talked much about acting. You actually came over here after doing an audition.
Yeah.
And you do act. I know, in the last year, you shared on Facebook a video that a commercial. I think it was a commercial that you got booked on. I forgot.
Wingasm? The one where I'm dancing?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, that was for an app. That was for an app? A gambling app?
Yes.
It's for a gambling app, and I played. I was a wedding guy that just had found out he won something on the app, and so that was super fun. They let me dance and do whatever I wanted. I improv'd. I took people's drinks and started drinking them on scene and the scenes. That was super fun. I am an actor. I've always wanted to be an actor, and now I can say I'm an actor. I also do this thing called the Dinner Detective. I've been the lead actor there for 5 years, almost 6 years now. I've been doing the show, and it's really fun because I get to bring in a lot of comics. And I would 4 years ago when I was able to bring comics in, I picked a bunch of people that weren't doing so great back then, but I really like them. And now these people are so good. They're doing so well. Ashley Overton, I remember seeing her, and I was like, I should ask her if she wants to be on the show, because she seems like she wants to do more stuff. And she came in, and me and her started working together, and she kept working super hard in stand-up and everything else, and particularly stand-up, and now I think she's one of the best in Austin, definitely. She's amazing. So I still get to work with her and a bunch of other people, and diverse. Oh, I'm sorry, Jeffrey Jefferson. I'm fucking boring you.
No, I was trying to sneeze and it didn't come
Oh, that's
out.
okay. You can sneeze on me. I don't care.
All right. Anything else? The Dinner Detective is cool. I've talked to a few comics who tell me that they do it, and it's kind of
it helped
venue.
me. Yeah, it helped me survive.
Yeah.
I still need it.
Detective?
Yeah, why don't you describe it first?
Dinner Detective is a national show. It's a national murder mystery show that runs in every major city in the United States. And I help lead the one in Austin and in San Antonio. We trained and built the show in San Antonio. And, it's a murder mystery show. It's mostly a comedy, and the show's content is based off of real cold cases. So we take people through articles and clues that came out about these cases, and we've developed scripts for a couple different cases, and we run them. We run these really funny. Well, we make them funny, but we run these scripts. We've been doing them for a long time. So it started by one of the writers from CSI, I think. I don't remember his name.
I've heard of that.
You have? CSI?
No, the Dinner Detective.
Oh, you have? How'd you hear about it?
I don't remember.
Holly does it, so I wonder if it came up with her.
Yeah, she might have mentioned it.
Yeah.
Holly Como?
Yeah.
She's one of our favorite people in the universe.
No, I know. Yeah, I think she's one of the funniest people I've met. I love her. Yeah, she's very funny. She's great. Oh, man.
This is the Holly Cuomo minute, so...
no. She better listen than shit. Gave her a shout out. If I could, I would just have her host all my shows. And she's so funny. So
you're a Texan?
Now?
For now?
I am registered to vote here, and yes.
So do you think you're going to have the siren call of heading back west?
I feel like I'm going to die in Hacienda Heights again. Like, I'll go back to West Covina and die in the mall where I got my ear pierced. Yeah, I would go back to LA if I had a job in the industry. I don't want to just move back there for no reason.
You're in a good spot because you are getting to do really cool things from here. And that's kind of that's what, when I have conversations with people who, when we get to so do you want to leave? Is it LA or New York? And some people are like, yeah, I'll probably go. Or some people are like, I just want Austin to be able to sustain performers here. And so you seem to be fortunate that you've gotten involved in things that you're able to be a performer here successfully.
Yeah. It's a great incubator. And that's what the industry is seeing it as. We still got some people that never want to leave, like Avery Moore and Chris Tellez, and my very, very good friend Andre Ricks, who is doing really. He's only been doing comedy for like 2 years or 3 years now, maybe. But he maybe less than that, maybe it's like 2. But I just have this feeling that he's going to move because he's probably one of those people that could move and do really well and just get better if he does. Like Martin O'Banner moved to New York, and he is doing really well. And that's one of the people I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Other people I'm like, no, you should stay. You should stay here. You should stay here because LA's hard and New York.
Yeah, as the fan who keeps an eye on the scene. There's that summer exodus of comics. And I'm like, interesting choice. Okay.
Yeah. Carrie Lindau is in LA, and she sent out a mass email with her new web series, which is really funny. And it's very creative, and I watched it a couple times. And there's a scene where they're in an apartment, and Daniel Webb and MK Paulson are in it, and they walk into the apartment. And I'm like, oh my God, I remember living in an apartment like that in LA where you're paying $1,600 a month. I was paying $2,300 a month before I moved. And I just remember, it being really hot and me not having money and having to eat stuff I didn't want to eat, like Blimpies. But if you get a chance, say I'll just plug Carrie's web series, Bonnie Bonison.
Yeah, with some alum, Daniel Webb and MK.
So funny. Yeah, Daniel Webb is so fucking funny.
Margaret Cho. He's now touring with her.
Oh.
He just got sense. That. Yeah. And MK, I feel like there's something, like he got kind of big with the Amazon Prime show that features some LA comics, but I feel like there was something more recent that happened that kind of like bumped him up too. So it's like, yay to them. Oh, I know what it was. I think it might have been JFL, New Faces, Fresh Faces.
Oh.
I think.
Just for laughs. Just for laughs. Yeah. Avery was on that too. Yeah. That's great. I can't wait to go to Montreal once I move. I think me and Doug can do it. I think the Lock Street Boys can do it. I got we're going to be booking Fourth Tap in January, so that's going to be our next show. We closed out the show, headlined at Baker Street Pub last week, and we have a tight 25, which we're going to turn into a tight 90 in the next year. And I think the Vox Street Boys is changing the world and helping a lot of people.
Nice. Some sweet merch, too.
Yeah, shove dick shirts.
All right, we're going to wrap up. We're going to, you'll get a chance to do a full promo in a second, but I'm going to ask you one word to describe your future.
Funny. Funny. Funny little.
Funny what?
FUNNYLADLE. Funny little. Yeah, like it's like a ladle.
Okay.
All one word.com.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeff, do you have any closing questions?
No.
For our guest? All right.
Jeff, I'm sorry I didn't get to talk to you more.
I don't mind.
Okay.
I like listening to you guys talk.
You couldn't have liked that whole thing.
No, I enjoyed it.
Okay, because I kept looking over at you to see if you kind of were getting it. And
No, I was.
yeah, you're not just being polite?
No.
What do you like about the Locker Boys Backstreet Boys?
I don't know. Just the whole thing.
You're our youngest fan.
I am?
Yeah, and our first fan. And no one else likes us.
When did we first see them? At the same
We would have. We started doing our shows in June, so I think that would have been the first time that we would have
I feel
seen.
like it was like our second or third show that we saw
Sandbox
you guys
or
for the first
something?
time.
Yeah,
At
it was at a Sandbox.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and I remember
Because I'd never
really
even
enjoying
seen
it.
you before, so it's kind of like cool. I mean, I'd never seen the Lavaca Street Boys. I'd seen you, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, Valerie, when you told me that your son was liked us a lot, made us both cry, me and Doug. We were like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
one
I
at a time.
Really enjoying it.
Thank you so much. We're starting this new thing. We're doing an email list now. So we're getting people's emails,
Ooh,
and we're keeping them filed so we can tell people about our shows.
there you go.
Cool.
Yeah, it was the last performance you did was way past curfew, so
Oh yeah.
that's the tough part of being a young fan.
Oh,
Well,
it's gonna.
thank you. I was fine the next day.
Dude, your mom's awesome. She lets you go see all this alternative comedy. Like, are you going to be a comic, or do you
I
want
don't
to?
know.
You could be.
He's
You know?
really funny.
There's people doing it. You should start it now.
Well, I kind of have with Jeff and Kathy Chit Chat show.
Well,
a
that's
little
true.
bit.
There's some. Yeah, you're already doing the creative stuff. But what about stand up?
What?
What?
Well, I don't know. I don't feel like I really like the whole idea of like writing my jokes and stuff.
We'll write it for you for now, and then you can perform it. And then people be like, he doesn't even write his own stuff. Like, dude, he's 13. That'll be super funny. You'll be able to say fuck a lot. It'll all be blue material. You're like, what's up, everybody? Fuck yeah. No, you couldn't do that. We'd write something else.
No, comedy has to come from
Inside the
coming
heart.
hot.
But, the other people do write for people, though, and I think, that's funny. There's a guy with one arm in Austin right now doing comedy.
Really?
Yeah, I forgot his name. I saw him last night at a mic, but I'd love to write for him. If he would let me. Be
I
fun.
have to keep an eye out for him.
Yes, keep an eye out for him.
All right.
You might have to go to Mike's. I think he's newer. But you might have to see him at a mic. But yeah, there's only one guy with one arm right now on the scene. So
Yeah.
So what are the
Okay.
stupid things I said today? I said that I only consumed black media when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty dumb.
Led a life of crime.
That's her ring.
Mm-hmm.
Crime ring.
Speech team.
Speech team, all that sucked.
Mm-hmm. Radio.
What's that?
Radio.
Oh, the radio stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Nope. Insignificant. Right. Really. You guys are doing such a great job with this podcast. The website looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
All the bios are great. You guys have 150 shows now. Oh my gosh, yeah. And I don't think I've ever met another parent that supports comedy and exposes their kid to it like you do. And I think it's gonna make you super smart. Yeah.
And cool. You get to see some pretty cool performers.
I think the first time really took me to like a comedy show was either seeing Chris Cubis at what?
Austin Java, the old Sure Thing
Oh
venue.
yeah, I remember
And
that.
then the Sklar, or whatever they're called.
Yeah, the ping
At
pong
Newtown.
showdown. Mm-hmm.
Kitty.
And he
It was
was.
funny because they actually noticed me,
Uh-huh.
and they were like,
The Sklar Brothers?
yeah,
Yeah.
they actually asked me how old I was or whatever. And how old am I?
I think you were 9 at the time. Yeah, you were
Yeah.
9. So it became a running bit because, people they would curse and then they'd just say, "Oh, we got a 9-year-old in the audience," but then they'd
So it
keep
was pretty
cursing.
cool.
It was
That's awesome.
that was
So
pretty cool.
So who's funnier, the Backstreet Boys or Sklar Brothers?
The Lavaca Street Boys.
Wow, without a skip and a beat.
Yep.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I just like your energy more.
Yeah. Why do you like it more?
I don't know.
Just great, or
Super goofy.
Just great.
Yeah.
It's just silly. And sometimes obviously the Sklar brothers have a dynamic.
Yeah,
by
they're-
being
they're
twins.
They can read each other's minds.
But you two have a dynamic that's genuine and that comes off. And,
thank
when
you.
people have that,
Yeah.
a smart audience will pick up on that and
that's
love
good.
it.
Okay, that's good.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
all right. Well, that is a wrap on Comedy Wham presents Adam Weightman. Tell us where we can find you on social media, your upcoming shows, anything else you want to promote.
Social media, Instagram, Adam Weightman, Shut Up Dick. Just Instagram, Shut Up Dick, Adam Weightman. You'll find it. Twitter, same thing. I'm not going to promote Facebook anymore because Facebook sucks. But I'm going to be on the Poetry Brothel. I'm playing Amethyst Black. I'm the Master of Ceremonies for this national show called the Poetry Brothel, which is coming to Austin in February. That's my next really big show. Blake Ball's doing Fourth Tap. Lavaca Street Boys are going to be making an appearance there in a month. And if you or your friends or family would like to be a part of the Lavaca Street Boy People movement, you can email me at adamweichtman@gmail.com. That's adamweightman@gmail.com. Is email, is that social media?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a way to connect.
Yeah.
It's the umbrella. All right. Well, we hope you've enjoyed learning about how Adam got to be the comedic genius that you heard today, just as much as we have.
Yep. Stealing is a big part.
This has been...
stealing objects, not jokes. Stealing karopi.
Yeah. This has been a sniffly Comedy Wham. Oh boy. Here we go. This has been Comedy Wham presents Adam Weightman. I'm Valerie. And that's been funny. Thank you, Adam.
Thanks. Thank you guys. Love you.